One thing I was not a fan of on Monday Night Raw, and to be quite honest, haven't been a fan of recently. And I want you to pay very close attention because context is very important to what I'm about to say. I'm sure that's not going to stop people from chopping things up and making this a headline and Graves buries somebody because that's not what this is. This is me as a fan and someone maybe a little too close to the business just expressing my honest opinion about one of the best talents of our generation. In my opinion, Charlotte Flair has never felt less important than she does right now. Now, hear me out. This is Charlotte Flair we're talking about, okay? She has a resume a mile long, and in a few short years has already cemented herself as one of, if not the greatest, female superstar in WWE history. By the time it's all said and done, I'm pretty certain we will be referring to the Queen as such. But something about what's been happening lately just feels off. This whole tag team thing with Charlotte finding a different partner week after week, it just doesn't click. I'm not feeling it. And it looks to me like Charlotte's not feeling it. You can see it on her face. Charlotte Flair looks like she's going through the motions and getting through the night. And again, I don't mean this as an insult. She is a close friend of mine. I have all the respect in the world for Charlotte Flair. I am not in any way saying anything negative about her ability. I am saying what is happening around Charlotte Flair has made her feel less than Charlotte Flair. For some reason, despite the fact that they spent the better part of last year trying to kill one another, she and Becky are all of a sudden just pals. I mean, Charlotte Flair and Asuka at WrestleMania a couple years ago was maybe the match of the year. Charlotte Flair is one of the most exciting talents in all of WWE, maybe the best athlete in the entire business. We've seen through her body of work that speaks for itself, Charlotte Flair has the ability to be consistent. We heard Roman Reigns talk about the importance of consistency on this show. Last week, Kevin Owens talked about how his passion for what he's doing on television truly matters because it means he has something to live up to, something to deliver. And I feel like maybe Charlotte Flair is of the same ilk. Let's be perfectly honest here. Charlotte Flair carried the main event of WrestleMania this year. Yes, the man Becky Lynch won. Yes, Becky got all the spotlights and accolades, and deservedly so. But let's be honest. If Charlotte Flair was not in that triple threat match at WrestleMania, there is no way that that match is nearly as exciting or successful as it was. Period. I will argue that point to the death. Charlotte Flair, to me, was the star of that matchup because she is a pro. She is highly talented, and when she's motivated, dare I say, untouchable. So I don't know how you fix this. Maybe Charlotte Flair just needs to be in the title picture all the time. I miss the Queen, my Queen, the villainess that just kicked everybody's ass because she was superior. I don't know how you bring it back. I don't think it's a tough thing to fix, but it needs to come back. Either that or let Charlotte Flair take a little bit of a break. Let her take some time off and just disappear from public eye for a few months. Let everybody remember why they miss Charlotte Flair, why she is who she is. I know I'm forced to explain myself ad nauseum, but allow me to reiterate one more time. I want my Queen back.
Delete this man.
People still did. You know, it's amazing how we can make Corey Graves out to be public enemy number one with what he did to Mauro Ranallo, but then he goes on his podcast and has a segment like that where he's talking about Charlotte Flair. I cannot even begin to tell you how I agree with what he said about Charlotte Flair on this week's After the Bell. Who knew He's got a brain, after all. This is Off the Script, episode 303. This is part number 2 for your Saturday, December 7th, 2019. And we got, as always, a lot of news to go over for you guys here this weekend on this part number 2. Corey Graves is actually in the news, and it's not good news. It's actually kind of sad and pathetic, to be quite honest with you. Why WWE didn't punish Corey Graves over the Mauro Ranallo situation. And what did I tell you guys last time we ranted on this, which you can find right on my homepage. It should be the first video that you see right on the channel when you click on the channel. What did we say in that video? It starts at the top. Corey Graves said what he said. But if the people up top, his bosses, do nothing about it, then how does it make them and the entire company look in the entire situation? We'll go over that right here on the podcast. Charlotte Flair actually responded to Corey Graves about his comments to her, saying that she does not feel important at this time. We're going to go over this right here on the podcast as well. Vince McMahon and his reaction to the Lana and Bobby Lashley arrest angle from Raw. I honestly think whoever wrote this entire storyline should be arrested and not Lashley and Lana. Maybe Lana because she's absolutely dreadful on Monday nights. We'll go over that as well. Brock Lesnar's potential WrestleMania 36 plans, they might be revealed. And when I reveal them to you, the first word that's going to come to your mind is awful. I hope to God that these are not the plans, and I pray WWE goes in a different direction for WrestleMania. Stop with the bullshit. Do what is right for the roster that you have in front of you. We'll go over that as well. Jeff Hardy, his health issues are now a serious concern, so much that WWE has urged Jeff Hardy to address his serious health issues. What did they say? We'll go over that as well. TLC. Now, one match has been booked for TLC. We can kind of come up with the match list for TLC, but not one match has been announced for TLC, and there's 1 week left of WWE programming. What are the matches going to be, and why has Vince McMahon opted to not announce any matches for TLC? Quite honestly, when I tell you the reason, you might think it's ridiculous, but in this case, I actually agree with him. We'll go over that as well right here on Off the Script. The Usos, when are they coming back? I got news on them. Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston, and WrestleMania. Kofi Kingston speaks on how it all came about. And I am going to be validated today when you hear his explanation. We'll go over that. Good news on Xavier Woods' recovery. We got news on Mike Kanellis. Who? Oh, the loser, Mike Kanellis, who signed a 5-year deal knowing that the company was ready, willing, and able to bury him as soon as he signed the dotted line. That Mike Kanellis. He wonders if he should have went to NXT first. You think? You think? We'll go over what he said. And Tommaso Ciampa, speaking of NXT, he said if they removed him from the NXT roster, he was set to retire from in-ring competition. Guys, we got a lot to go over right here on the podcast. Thank you so much for joining me here on Off the Script. If you guys missed part 1, where we went over Johnny Catering, Johnny Failure, Johnny, I don't know what I'm doing here, but I'm collecting a paycheck, Morrison. If you guys want my thoughts on the signing of John Morrison and why you should not be excited about his upcoming return to the WWE, that is in part 1. That's the major story. Why Cedric Alexander has cooled off and why Vince McMahon has just seemingly forgot about Cedric Alexander, the Raw ratings, the AEW ratings, the NXT ratings, and my plea to just stop comparing the shows. All that in 1 hour and 45 minutes of podcast. That was yesterday. Link for that will be down in the description of this very video. So make sure you guys go and check that out, including Monday Night Raw, Off the Script Elite on Tuesday, AEW News and Rumors, if you guys care about that. AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, NXT on Thursday, SmackDown on Friday. We don't sleep here, bro. We don't sleep here. We got a lot to cover in the week, and I got it all for you right down in the description. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206 on Twitter. It's the number one place to find me, to call me an asshole, to call me a goon, to just keep up to date on everything that's going on, and live tweet with me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday during all of the in-ring action during the week. That's Twitter, at JD from NY206. That's Twitter and Instagram, by the way, so make sure you guys do both. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on that bell for all notifications. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but back yourself up. Make sure you guys turn on that bell. If you guys want to support the podcast via Patreon, you guys know how to do that as well. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And today, the podcast is brought to you by the one and the only, and I hope that you guys are using it this holiday season because it's going to save you a lot of money, and that is Honey. Join honey.com/offthescript, trusted by over 10 million online members. How many of you guys just dislike the holidays for one reason or another? You don't like spending time with your family, you don't like the long lines and the crowds at the stores, you don't like seeing your paycheck dwindle down and you got your rent and your electric and your car payment with insurance still sitting there, wondering how you're going to pay for them. Overspending on gifts this holiday season is definitely not something that you should worry about. Why? Because I have something for you. Honey. Honey is a free browser extension that automatically finds the best promo codes whenever you guys shop online. That means that you're always going to get the best deals even without trying on over 20,000 sites such as Amazon, eBay, J.Crew, Sephora, Expedia, Target, Best Buy, Newegg. The list goes on and on. I find shopping for my parents is a very difficult task. My dad is a very difficult task. My mom is a little bit easier. My mom loves decorative tea kettles, and she loves pigs. Pigs, yes, pigs. The farm animal, the pig. So I found her a beautiful tea kettle in the shape of a pig, and I bought it for her using Honey, and I saved a decent amount of money. For the same thing, I could go to a local store in my area and spend an extra $10. I found what I was looking for, the same thing, same everything for my mom, and I saved myself some money using Honey. Now, Honey has found its 10 million members over $1 billion in savings. Honey also supports over 20,000 stores online, and they have over 100,000 5-star reviews on Google Chrome. Now, if you're buying gifts this holiday season, then you need Honey. If you're not, you probably know someone who is. So do them a solid and tell them about Honey. Honey can help make sure that you're getting the best price for whatever you're buying. It's free, and it installs in just 2 clicks. Get Honey for free at joinhoney.com/offthescript. Guys, that's joinhoney.com/offthescript and save some money using Honey this holiday season. Might as well start off with this Corey Graves situation, man. The podcast, not the Mauro Ranallo situation, the podcast quote that you guys heard at the beginning of the show, where he talked about Charlotte Flair and how she feels unimportant right now. Why does she feel unimportant right now? It's because WWE doesn't have a single solitary clue on how to book women's wrestling. You got some of the greatest female talent in the entire industry locked up on your payroll. And you mean to tell me you can't give any one of these divisions talent so that Charlotte Flair can not feel like she's getting a fucking title shot every single week? You can't give this woman competition. You have to resort to the bottom of the barrel tactics now. This is how sad the women's division is on Monday Night Raw. We go from Charlotte and Becky Lynch to now Charlotte and Becky Lynch teaming, and now we're getting handicap matches with Asuka and Kairi Sane against Charlotte Flair. There is no other competition. Before the end of the year, Charlotte will have been in matches with the entirety of the women's division. You don't even know who else is on the division because WWE fails to even mention anybody else outside of these 4 women. A division cannot be booked on 4 women. Same thing with SmackDown. You got Lacey Evans, you got Nikki Cross, Sasha Banks, Bayley, right? Who's Carmella? Carmella's a nobody to me. And who else you got? I don't even know. It's ridiculous. The women's division is something that I look at and I've ranted on for so many months. And I've sat here and I've supported what Sasha Banks does and how she feels about the division. I've sat here and I supported Bayley and how she feels about the division. You guys can go back and watch one of the biggest videos I did all year about the entire Sasha Banks situation and why she quit the company following WrestleMania 35. Everything I said in that video, and I have no inside scoop. I don't work for the company. You have to watch the shows the way I watch the shows. Everything I said about that entire situation and what I said about the women's division is absolutely the way the women's division is. There's not one single person in this entire division on both shows that legitimately gives a shit about the quality and the division itself. They don't want the division to flourish. Everybody is selfish. Everybody. They're only looking out for themselves. Every single female in that division, minus Sasha Banks and Bayley, are looking out for themselves. And I don't even know if I was to speak to Sasha Banks today and I asked her what her mentality is now compared to before WrestleMania, when you wanted nothing but the best for this division. You were out there during the main event of WrestleMania this year watching Ronda, Becky, and Charlotte do their thing. Is that the same Sasha Banks that we're getting now? Are you a little bit older and wiser to what the company is prone to doing? I guarantee you that the answer she would give me is, I care less and less as the weeks go on. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Now, I don't know the woman. I don't know her personally. I've never spoken to her. But if I could be real with you guys, which I always am, that's my logical guess to what she would tell me. Now, I'm not saying that she doesn't care, but the level of care that she has now compared to then is significantly different. Charlotte Flair is not the greatest of all time. She very well could go on to be the greatest of all time, but I do agree with Corey Graves that she is talented. She is a big name in the company. She's not feeling important right now. But why does she have to feel important every single week? The only thing that I find wrong here is that the division sucks. The only thing that I find wrong here is that she has no competition. She has no competition in that division outside of Asuka and Kairi Sane, who are the tag team champions, and Becky Lynch. Those are champions on this brand. So what you're telling me is she's mingling with the tag team champions and Becky Lynch, yet she doesn't feel important? Whose fault is that? Now, I don't know if that's a knock on Charlotte Flair, but it's certainly a knock on Becky Lynch, who's the Raw Women's Champion, and the Kabuki Warriors, who are the Women's Tag Team Champions. Corey Graves is pretty much saying, because Charlotte Flair doesn't feel important, that everything around her isn't important, even though she's mingling it on Monday night with all three of those women. So what does that say about them and those titles? I don't get the ass-backwards response to what he said. Do I agree with him in a sense? Yes. She doesn't feel important. But she doesn't feel important because WWE doesn't make the women's division feel important. It's always Charlotte, Charlotte, Charlotte. We'll get a sprinkle of Becky. Charlotte, Charlotte, Charlotte. We might get a side dish of Asuka and Kairi Sane. And that's it. Rinse and repeat every single week. Like I said, we're at the bottom of the barrel now. We're coming to the rinse and repeat portion of the show. Charlotte is mixing it up with the same women every single week with no sign of new competition. This company has employed some of the best female talent in the world. There's no way you can fucking justify to me that these divisions remain the way they are with the amount of talent that you have. Call somebody up. What is Charlotte going to do when Becky Lynch when Ronda Rousey comes back? What is Charlotte going to do when Becky Lynch is in the middle of a Shayna Baszler feud on Monday Night Raw? What is she going to do? What is she going to do? She's going to feel not important then? Because when Becky is dealing with Shayna, I'm sure she'll be handcuffed to Ronda Rousey. So spare me the fucking tears about Charlotte Flair not being important. I do agree to an extent because the division doesn't feel important. But I'm not going to sit here and feel bad for fucking Charlotte Flair. Give me a break. Greatest of all time. She's got all these accolades. For what? For what? Is she as good as her accolades say she is? No, she's not. The woman's got 3 title reigns this year alone. That total, 1 week. That doesn't speak legend to me. I don't know what you guys are watching or who you're watching, but I know what I'm watching. I'm watching somebody who definitely has the talent to be the greatest of all time, but mostly what I look at is an entitled, spoiled brat. That's what I look at when I look at Charlotte Flair. She is where she is because of who she is. WWE sees that, and that's all they give a shit about. She is a legend based off her family's name. Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ruby Riott, Ember Moon, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and everybody to follow. Rhea Ripley, Toni Storm, Candice LeRae, Bianca Belair, Dakota Kai, Tegan Nox, Shayna Baszler. None of them are going to be able to compete with that. Everybody's going to get the kiddie table at the end of the evening. Charlotte, she'll always sit at the head of the table. Why? Because they want her there. Meanwhile, I can name you 5 or 6 different women that are better than Charlotte that are currently employed with the WWE now. And 6 or 7 women that I would rather see than Charlotte Flair right now employed by the WWE. So what Graves said is correct to a certain extent. Charlotte Flair has never felt less important than she does right now. You guys know why I feel that way. Because the division doesn't feel important. The whole tag team thing with Charlotte finding a different partner week after week, it just doesn't click. It doesn't click because it's shitty creative. It's shitty creative. I'm not feeling it, and it looks to me that Charlotte's not feeling it. Of course she's not feeling it because she thinks she should be the Raw Women's Champion. She thinks that she should be in a title match every pay-per-view, a.k.a. a spoiled brat. You can see it on her face. Charlotte Flair looks like she's going through the motions and getting through the night. Well, you're on Monday Night Raw. Nobody wants to be there. Everybody goes through the motions because it's 3 hours of nauseating trash. Charlotte carried the main event of WrestleMania this year. No, she didn't. Nobody carried that main event at all. The main event of WrestleMania was fucking terrible this year. Just like the triple threat match at Survivor Series. They go hand in hand. They're both awful. Both awful. I don't know who in that crowd was interested in that match at the end of the night. Have you guys listening to me gone back and watched that WrestleMania main event after the first initial viewing? Mostly, you guys will tell me no. There might be a yes scattered about in the comment section, but the majority of you will have said no. I know this. I didn't. I'll probably never end up watching the show or that match ever again. Why? Because it was a forced political agenda by WWE. They were on the bandwagon of getting the women for a first time ever. It was the year of first time evers. So you knew it was going to happen based off that. And let's go back to what happened to Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch was an over babyface, a babyface that was not being given the opportunity, and the fans revolted. Not like a Daniel Bryan revolt, but they revolted anyway. WWE, with Charlotte in their mind, first and foremost as always, wanted Becky Lynch to turn heel. Because they thought Charlotte was the babyface and nobody could hate the queen. Meanwhile, backfired on them. For weeks, WWE tried to push the agenda of please listen to us, we know what we're doing. And Becky Lynch went out there and tried to be a heel. It was very unnatural. The fans did not accept this whatsoever, and the WWE, in a rare situation, actually listened to the fans, and they let the fans guide them with this storyline. They let the fans guide Becky Lynch to wherever she may land, and it actually landed her in the WrestleMania main event because it got bigger and stronger and louder every single week. Then Becky Lynch is booked in a match with Ronda Rousey. Right then and there, I knew Becky Lynch and Ronda Rousey happening, supposedly scheduled to be at the Survivor Series last year. I knew right then and there that Charlotte Flair and Ronda Rousey was going to be the main event of WrestleMania because Becky Lynch was getting Ronda then, and then Charlotte's going to get Ronda when it actually matters. What the fuck and who the fuck cares about a Survivor Series? Nobody. Becky Lynch got hurt. She got her nose broken, or what WWE claimed to be her face broken, and that actually helped Becky Lynch in her recovery, in her coming back, because at that point, Becky Lynch was made into an overnight sensation. They had absolutely no choice but to put her in the Royal Rumble and book her to win the Royal Rumble, and the rest is history. The rest is history. Now you look at Charlotte Flair in this entire situation. She was the one who got Ronda Rousey at Survivor Series. I and many of you could have easily lobbied for Asuka to go one-on-one with Ronda Rousey. WWE didn't do that. Why did they give it to Charlotte? Because Charlotte is the chosen golden child. I would have loved to see Asuka versus Ronda Rousey. Everybody would have. Asuka was over then. Asuka was incredibly over. She got a chant of Asuka. The entire building that night, when Charlotte was chosen, was chanting Asuka. They wanted Asuka. And we didn't get Asuka. We got Charlotte, for obvious reasons. Charlotte did what she did in that match. And, I mean, looking back at it now, it doesn't really make any sense why Charlotte Flair went off the handle with the kendo stick the way she did. I don't know what that was. I don't know if that was something that was made on the fly, a decision that was made on the fly, wasn't inaudible, that was just taken into the hands of Charlotte Flair. I don't know. It doesn't look, if you look back at it now and look back at things in retrospect, it doesn't look like it makes any sense whatsoever. So then Charlotte Flair had to sit on the sidelines. They had to have Charlotte Flair sit on the sidelines, right? Becky Lynch goes into the Royal Rumble, right? Becky Lynch wins the Royal Rumble. She tapped out to Asuka, or submitted to Asuka. I don't remember which one. She lost to Asuka clean in the opening match of the Royal Rumble. She wins the Royal Rumble by not really being an entrant, so we get that epic moment where she is in and she takes Lana's spot. They need a 30, right? So she comes in and she fills the field of 30. She wins the Royal Rumble. Then we get the tag team titles brought into the spotlight. Sasha Banks and Bayley, first ever tag team champions. Great. I sensed those titles were going to be a failure anyway, but there's no better advocate for those titles than both Sasha Banks and Bayley. This left Charlotte Flair out in the middle of the rain, in the cold, with nothing. So WWE played it up, right? So we got Becky, we got Ronda, and we got Charlotte Flair. If you thought Charlotte Flair was not going to be in a major WrestleMania match, you have to be a fucking idiot. You gotta be so dense that I don't even think you're alive at that point. WWE, for no reason whatsoever, took the SmackDown Women's title off of Asuka to simply put it on Ronda to get her into the main event of WrestleMania. WWE always had Charlotte Flair in that WrestleMania main event. They had her pegged for that WrestleMania main event, not knowing at all what would happen with Becky Lynch. Now, with what happened with Becky Lynch, do you look at Charlotte Flair as somebody who's going to be pleased about being given something and then having to take a back seat to plans that were not even written down on the itinerary? Do you look at Charlotte Flair being okay with that, or do you look at Charlotte Flair like I look at Charlotte Flair, who is an entitled, spoiled brat? Soon as Becky Lynch started to take off and she knew that her WrestleMania main event spot with Ronda Rousey was in jeopardy, I guarantee you she lobbied backstage to not only beat Asuka, but to be in the WrestleMania main event and to have this be a unification match of sort, which it never ended up being. That's the logical outcome of that match, a unification title which would actually benefit both the Raw and SmackDown women's divisions. That didn't happen. So she won the title just to simply be in the match. Her winning the title offered nothing to the grand scheme of WWE television over the next 6 to 12 months. Because if it was a title match that was a unification match, then her being there would have meant something. She was always there for Charlotte Flair because she's Charlotte Flair. Everything this company does, especially for the women, I'm talking about the women, everything this company does is for their favorites. Everything they do in the women's division is Charlotte. Everything. She doesn't feel important. She doesn't feel important. The woman is in a fucking title match every single week. And when she's not, which is a rarity, she's booked like a champion. She doesn't feel important. She got a 10-time fucking title reign. Asterisk next to her name. 10 reigns. Not one of which is memorable. She doesn't feel important. WWE didn't even know who the fuck Asuka was when they got her on the main roster. All they seen was she's undefeated for 900 days. Charlotte, Wrestlemania, undefeated streak broken. She doesn't feel important. WWE went out of their way after this woman was out for a month and a half to fix a leaking breast to put her in a SummerSlam match against Trish Stratus, which was the biggest match on that show for the women, and it wasn't even a championship match. She doesn't feel important. Are you fucking kidding me? Give me a break. Stop sucking the Charlotte cock and maybe get her off TV for 2 months, 3 months, a year. She doesn't feel important. The women's division doesn't feel important. It's not my fault. It's not your fault. It's WWE's creative. It's their fault. She doesn't feel fucking important. Make the division feel important, and then we might ease up on the Charlotte bashing just a little bit. Because all I see is Charlotte, Charlotte, Charlotte. She's everywhere. She doesn't have to be the face of the fucking division every single week. Unreal. She carried the main event. She's a pro. She's highly talented. When she's motivated, I dare say she's untouchable. I miss my queen. My queen, the villainess, that just kicked everybody's ass because she was superior. I know I'm forced to explain myself ad nauseum, but allow me to reiterate one more time, I want my queen back. So what does Charlotte think about this? She says, and I quote, and simply says, the problem is, he's not entirely wrong. Give me a break. So you have all the power. See, someone like Charlotte Flair has all the power in the palm of her hand. If she wants something, I guarantee you, she's going to be able to get it. So where is this woman lobbying for better creative? Where is this woman lobbying for better competition? Where is this woman lobbying for an actual fucking division outside of Kairi Sane, Asuka, and Becky Lynch? Seriously, who the fuck else is on the Monday Night Raw roster? Sarah Logan? Liv Morgan? You have to be joking me. Nobody gives a shit about them. Nobody even realizes that they're still employed. You know how dumb it looked when Sarah Logan was announced for the Raw Women's Survivor Series team and she's been off TV all year? Half of the fucking audience didn't even know who she was. This woman could have anything she wants, and nobody stands up for a better division. Nobody. Nobody. How often does Sasha need to come up and say, we need better for the women's division? How? Why should it just rest on her lap and Bayley's lap? Where's everybody else? Or is everybody really that fucking self-centered and selfish? Women's wrestling in WWE is a fucking joke. It is a joke. It's nothing but a political propaganda just to trot women out there and empower women by these athletes. They don't do anything to signify to me that wrestling in women's wrestling is important. How can it be when it's modeled after one fucking woman? Moving on. Speaking of Corey Graves. Corey Graves was not punished over the Mauro Ranallo situation. Why? Because it's WWE, that's why. Mauro Ranallo missed NXT last week. This week, he was right on point. He was fucking fantastic. So, Mike Johnson, the PW Insider, Elite Audio, he said on Elite Audio that there is no risk of Corey Graves ever being punished. He says, and I quote, I was told this week, when all of that went down, that nothing is going to happen to Corey Graves. Vince loves Corey Graves. So Vince does love him. I don't know why, but he loves him. End quote. There you go, guys. There you go, guys. This guy is such a fucking dickhead. He goes out there and starts a storyline, which is complete bullshit, for YouTube clicks, for podcast downloads, to sell a fucking imaginary storyline where the storyline revolves and only includes one person and one person only, and that's Corey Graves. A storyline between fucking commentators for brand supremacy when the build towards Survivor Series did nothing as far as storyline goes with the separate announce teams across Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. So what did he do? He went out there and belittled his own colleague to make himself feel good, maybe in one of his drunken rants on social media. Carmella better take his fucking phone away like Becky Lynch needs to take Seth Rollins' phone away from him. He said something stupid. It was blasted by everybody in the community. 99% of the community were for Mauro Ranallo. If you're a part of that 1%, you're a fucking asshole. And you don't know anything. And he's not being punished because Vince loves him. So what does that mean? It means Vince is just a bigger asshole than Corey Graves. That's all that is. How does Mauro Ranallo know? How does Mauro Ranallo feel knowing that the company he works for will not punish somebody who blatantly went out there and made him feel fucking terrible after the documented fucking story about his mental health and the fact that he is an advocate for mental health awareness? Knowing that one thing, no matter how bad it is, one thing could be interpreted as the downfall of that man's fucking world, and who knows what he might end up doing to himself. Who's going to feel guilty then? Is Vince going to feel guilty? Is Corey Graves going to feel fucking guilty? Corey Graves should have at least been told by Vince McMahon to make a public apology on Twitter for what he said about Mauro Ranallo. That apology on After the Bell was nothing more than fucking empty. It was soulless. He didn't even mention the guy's fucking name. And he was probably told to make that announcement, and he went about it, and Vince went about it as, whatever, the apology's out there, fuck Mauro Ranallo. Vince doesn't like Mauro, he loves Corey. The end of the story. Showed up on NXT, he received an amazing reaction. There was footage of him coming out, being announced for the commentary table, standing ovation, huge chants of Mamma Mia in Full Sail University. Now, we can hopefully move on from this, but it doesn't negate the fact that Corey Graves is still a fucking prick. And no matter if he says something good or smart on his podcast, at the end of the day, he was the one who fucked up and still has not issued a true and genuine apology to Mauro Ranallo. Now, I might be jumping the gun there. He might have spoken to Mauro. He might have called him, might have texted him. I don't know. We'll never know. But he should have been forced to make a public apology by Vince and by WWE for what he did and what he said. Goes to show you the real bullies in the company are at the top and everybody just fucking follows the leaders. Fucking pathetic. Speaking of Vince McMahon, his reaction to the Lana Bobby Lashley arrest angle on Raw. Whoever's in charge of this fucking show, whoever has a pen in their hand backstage are the ones that need to be arrested. Monday Night Raw is fucking god-awful. The latest chapter of Rusev, Lana, Bobby Lashley involved law enforcement arresting Bobby Lashley and Lana. Now, it's ridiculous to think that a man violating the restraining order would be let go, while which is something that everybody in the community stated. Now, with the restraining order, he was let go. Rusev just was let go. He ran away. He escaped. While Lashley and Lana would be the ones to get arrested. The main man behind the scenes loved how everything went down. That main man is Vince McMahon. In fact, he wants to do this angle, and he wants it to continue beyond the TLC pay-per-view. Folks, get ready. Your 2020 is going to be rung in style with Lana and Bobby Lashley. Maybe we'll see a BBC celebration like we seen Edge and Lita with the live sex celebration on Monday Night Raw. Do they even have the capabilities to do such a thing? Maybe everybody would be invested then. I was told, who says this? Who is this? Mike Johnson or Dave Meltzer? I think it's Dave Meltzer. I was told that Vince McMahon loved how everything played out on Raw this week. The arrest angle was something that was approved days before it actually happened, and there were little changes made to that certain portion of the script on Raw. WWE sources have went on to state, and I quote, Vince loves everything about this story. The numbers are above average for those segments, so they will continue to do them until people stop caring. Well, I guess whoever Vince has in charge of the social media landscape isn't really paying that close enough of attention. Everybody fucking hates this storyline. Everybody. I was told that Vince McMahon sees this storyline the way people would look at a car wreck, says the source. Storyline might make you cringe, but you will keep watching. At least that is how McMahon feels. He also looks at the numbers for these segments and feels that Lana is generating real heel heat and not go-away heat, which is false. Lana is absolutely ripped apart on social media. She absolutely has go-away heat. There's nothing about Lana that is emanating with the audience that generates real heel heat. I'm sorry. Rusev has been getting praise backstage for the work he's also been doing. End quote. Although the match has not been officially announced for TLC, Lashley versus Rusev should take place at the pay-per-view on Sunday, not this Sunday, but the following Sunday. And the angle will continue as per reports. The last thing that was heard on Rusev is that he has not signed a new WWE contract, but as of last week, the feeling backstage is that Rusev will likely sign a new deal with the company. Really. Rusev is a blithering idiot at that point. As previously noted, the plan is for Rusev to look good at the end of the storyline. People in WWE Creative have been doing everything to keep the first match, or the first TV match between Lashley and Rusev until the pay-per-view. At house shows, they've been doing DQ finishes, and they've swerved fans by not actually doing the match at Starrcade. It's amazing how they want to go about. You see when they care about something, how they go to these lengths to just save the match for the fucking pay-per-view. Like, they'll tease you. They'll keep these guys away from one another. There'll be a little instance in which they get their hands on each other ever so gently, right? But they want to save the first actual match for the pay-per-view. Why don't they go and use that effort for something that actually is fucking meaningful and important and actually generates interest from the fans? I don't get these people. I don't get them. Look at how when they fucking care about something, that they'll actually go above and beyond to do what is right. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. So that is that. That is Vince McMahon's reaction to the storyline. He's enjoying it because he's the one who's in charge of it. And he's writing for himself. He don't give a fuck about us. He don't give a fuck about everybody on YouTube and on social media, on Twitter, blasting this storyline. There's not one person outside the age of 12 to 15 that legitimately gives a shit about this storyline. If you are someone like me who's in their key demographic, you do not give a shit about anything that's going on. I don't care. Lana should be off TV. Bobby Lashley is a fucking charisma vacuum. He's a complete waste of fucking time. How sad is it that his WWE return has been for 2 years now, and this is the highlight of his fucking return? Rusev, he's an idiot. If he signs with the company, he's a fucking idiot. He's a mongrel. A Bulgarian mongrel is what Rusev is if he signs with the company. What a dumbass. You think WWE is booking you in this storyline because they fucking care about you? This is only a storyline for Rusev because Mike fucking Kanellis didn't want it. Mike Cuck Kanellis didn't want it. And Maria was fucking pregnant. So they just replaced Mike with Rusev and Maria with Lana. And added the BBC in between. Fucking ridiculous. Unreal. Brock Lesnar. Speak about unreal. Brock Lesnar's potential WrestleMania 36 plans are god-awful. God-awful. According to a report from Alex McCarthy, this is Talk Sport, I believe, WWE currently has 2 routes planned to choose from for Brock Lesnar's WrestleMania 36 opponent. The first of those routes is a rubber match between Lesnar and Cain Velasquez. Let me take my fucking pillow and fall asleep until after April 7th. Is it April 8th yet? You have to be fucking kidding me. Seriously. I don't believe these fucking people if that is... Yeah, I gotta put it backwards. I don't give a shit. I don't believe these people if they're going that route. Then what's going to happen? Velasquez is going to get his win back and he's going to win the WWE title? Yes, that's exactly what I need on Monday Night Raw. Another fucking part-time guy holding the WWE Championship. Velasquez made his debut at Crown Jewel and lost to Lesnar in 2 minutes. Hope that contract was worth it, Kane. Of course, that would put them at 1-1. And then Lesnar, obviously, he got the scar from Cain Velasquez in the UFC. The other option might actually be worse. The other option is a bit similar in that pro boxer Tyson Fury could be the man to face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. Never mind April 8th. Can you just fucking have me sleep for all eternity if that's the case? I would really appreciate that. Seriously. Let's all go to sleep right now and pray that this nightmare is over come April 8th. I don't understand this shit. This is what you got for Brock Lesnar? I can't imagine. I can't imagine Brock Lesnar looking at this and being, you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this. I really don't want anything to do with this. Now, he might not even give a shit. He might just be there for the fucking paycheck, which is more than likely the case. But I mean, Brock Lesnar has to have some sense of fucking common logic. How is this WrestleMania worthy? How? If Tyson Fury was such a big draw, and he might be an even bigger draw, he might actually be in the news feeds, he might be in everybody's mouth after his match in February or January or whenever it's taking place with Deontay Wilder, he might be a big talked about guy, depending on the outcome of that match. We don't know. But Tyson Fury didn't do anything to enhance the ratings when he was on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown Live all those weeks ago. Neither did Cain Velasquez. What you have here is WWE alienating not only their audience, but they're shitting on the entire roster that could be in this match with Brock Lesnar instead of somebody like Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury. Now, I don't know how anybody in the locker room feels, but I know for a fact that I'm sure everybody would love to take the WWE title off of Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania in the main event. Why would they have to sit there? Why would they be happy with Cain Velasquez, who's done fucking nothing for this company, and Tyson Fury, who's not even a pro wrestler? God, that's a fucking nightmare waiting to happen. I can't even imagine. WWE cannot be that fucking stupid. They can't. I'm telling you this right now. I am telling you this looking directly in your eye. I'm not looking over there. I'm looking right at you. I swear to fucking God, they better do what is right creatively. You gave Lesnar the title. You destroyed Kofi Kingston in 7 seconds. For what? You put the title on him because Fox wanted him as the world champion. Fine. Now you take that world championship, which went from Lesnar to Rollins, back to Lesnar to Rollins, now to Brock Lesnar again. World championship, universal title that was. Now he's the WWE champion. Just because he's fucking Brock Lesnar. You better do the right thing. You got this man as the world champion. You use him to put actual talent that the fans are invested in. Not some second-rate UFC fucking scrub. Not some fucking pro boxer who don't even know how to fucking headlock with somebody. You take this title, and you take Lesnar, and you take the main event of WrestleMania, and you build up a Matt Riddle, and you build up a Keith Lee, or you build up somebody that's not named Roman Reigns. Please. Give me a fucking break, which we won't see because Reigns is on SmackDown, but I'm sure the Fiend will be fed to Roman Reigns, and it'll be the same fucking feast for Roman Reigns. No matter the Beast or the fucking Fiend, it doesn't matter. They gotta do the right thing here. This is absolutely dreadful, and I'd love to see an apologist fucking come at me and tell me that I'm wrong. That is awful. WrestleMania buys. WrestleMania, you gotta get all the biggest stars at WrestleMania. Fuck your biggest stars. Fuck them. Give me a break. Do what's right for the fucking company. Not the fucking WrestleMania. WrestleMania sucks. WrestleMania is not even a shell of what it used to be. Brock Lesnar and Tyson Fury, Brock Lesnar and Cain Velasquez. Nobody's gonna fucking come out and fly out to see that match. I guarantee you can poll 100 fucking people on who they want to see in the ring with Brock Lesnar. None of them will be Cain Velasquez and Tyson Fury. Yeah, because the ratings were so fucking groundbreaking when they were on Raw and SmackDown, right? Jesus Christ. This company is absolutely clueless. They don't give a single shit about building for the future. It's always now. What could you do for me now? What is that going to mean for WrestleMania? Nothing. Nothing. Yes, let's fill WrestleMania's card with fucking people who aren't even on the roster. Let's have these men and women work all year and take their spots away for Cain Velasquez. Fucking ridiculous. You guys sicken me to the fucking point of no return. Moving on here. Jeff Hardy. I love Jeff Hardy. I wish him the best. He hasn't made some of the brightest decisions as of late. But I want Jeff back on TV. Still think he has a lot left to give. After winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championships 2 days after WrestleMania 35 in April, the Hardy Boys were forced to vacate the titles after it was revealed that Jeff was dealing with an injury. During his time away from the ring, the former WWE Champion was arrested twice for DUI. However, WWE reportedly won't fire him. AEW. Oh, man. Oh, man, they got that new thing going around. It's called the AEW effect. Can't seem to get over it, man. It's contagious. Everybody's got it. Especially everybody in the wrestling industry, they got it. Absolutely. Absolutely. They won't release him. Why? Because he'll get better and then he'll go right to AEW. Because Matt's going to AEW. Matt's gone. If Matt stays with the company, he is, and I mean this with nothing but respect, a dummy. He really is. He doesn't need their money. He doesn't need them. They don't need him. Go and fucking make your money with Tony and get your broken brilliance out there. Guarantee you will see a career resurgence. Right now, your career is dead in WWE. I know you have a couple of years left in you. I know you don't want to go out with these people. I know you don't. You had your WrestleMania moment. It's looked at as one of the biggest WrestleMania moments of all time. Their return a couple of years ago, right? In Florida, WrestleMania 31. You got everything you could ever ask for from this company. Go and do your thing and bring back the broken universe. I'm sure Cody would fucking welcome you with open arms, and you would still be over as fuck if you go to AEW. Now, PW Insider is reporting that WWE has urged Jeff Hardy to get some serious help. Jeff's deal right now is frozen because he's hurt, so that does not bode well for Matt. If Matt signs, right, then Jeff might not be back. Who knows when, you know? If he doesn't sign, he's got to look out for himself now. Jeff, he knows. Matt's contract is up in March. Jeff is frozen. So Jeff was supposed to be up, I don't know when. He's got another year at least now, year plus, with this contract being frozen. Matt cannot rest all of his career on Jeff Hardy's lap here. He can't wait for his brother anymore. If Matt doesn't want to be there, Jeff is going to be a prisoner for at least a year, year and a half. So Jeff's deal is frozen. They've tacked on time. So why would they fire him when they can just hold him even longer? As we know, Jeff is in the middle of another legal quandary. I can tell you from a source very close to the situation that WWE strongly implored Jeff to address his health. And we are told here at PW Insider that Jeff is doing that and really aggressively getting it done right. So you can't fire the guy when he's doing what you ask him to do. We'll see what happens when he goes to court. I've always been a big fan of the Hardys, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy. I remember meeting them several years ago. They legitimately sat with everybody that was there to see them. And this was in the middle of Matt's broken brilliance in TNA. Everybody. It's the moment in which I asked him to delete me. And he mentioned, I don't really get many requests for a deletion, and he did it anyway. And he didn't once show that he was exhausted or frustrated or tired or didn't want to be there. Both him and Jeff, every single fan got the same amount of attention and not a smile was broken on their face. So I know how much this means to them. And I will forever have respect for both Matt and Jeff Hardy. But I hope that he's finally getting himself right. I hope that he's getting his health back to where it needs to be. I hope we don't hear any more fuck-ups on behalf of Jeff Hardy. Because this latest one was very scary. It's very scary. You know, driving with a revoked license, marriage problems now. You know, it's just all over the place. Drunken rants and drunken fucking issues. You can't be doing this. You know, you're a grown man, you got a family, you got a wife, you got 2 kids. Stop. Stop. The most important thing in your life is at home. Take care of them. How you take care of them, you go out there and give us your very best because we are ready here and willing. And we want nothing more than to support you in every step of the way. Get better. But Matt, I can't tell you what's going to happen with Matt. If I am Matt Hardy, I'm not waiting around for Jeff. I'm not. There is no tag team division in WWE. It will be the same thing over and over again. They would never give them the spotlight that they truly deserve, right? Especially towards the end of their career. Matt has been doing these free to delete videos on his YouTube channel. What does that mean? That doesn't seem like a guy who wants to remain with the WWE to me. So we'll see what happens. If I'm Matt, I'm leaving for AEW or anywhere. Ring of Honor, MLW, anywhere. He could literally go anywhere. There'll be a line of people waiting to sign him. HOG. How about House of Glory? I'm sure everybody in House of Glory, Brian, Red, everybody on that roster would welcome you with open arms to do your thing. And I'm sure Master P would love it. Maybe HOG. We'd be so lucky. Guys, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I got TLC news. Matches planned for TLC. Matches planned to be cut from TLC. And a possible reason as to why Vince McMahon has not had any of Raw and SmackDown announce a single match for the show yet. And we are only 1 week away. Guys, Harry's. Harry's.com/script. They got their new holiday gift sets, which you guys can get exclusively right here using our link. And I got a special deal for you this holiday season when you use harrys.com/script. What type of guy this holiday season are you guys shopping for? Is it your dad? Is it your brother? Your uncle? Your grandpa? If you're a lady listening to the podcast, maybe your boyfriend or your husband. Now, I know gifts for the guys, they get very cliche. A set of tools, underwear, socks, a shitty wallet, right? Nobody wants that type of garbage for the holiday season. You want something that's going to be thoughtful and practical and something that he's actually going to use. How about Harry's? Harrys.com/script. You guys use my link. You guys are going to get $5 off any of Harry's shave sets by heading to harrys.com/script, and you're going to get free shipping, and that ends on December 16th. So act now. It's a practical gift that he'll actually use. I use it. I use it every single week. I've been using Harry's for 3 years, and I love the glide of their blade on my sensitive skin, so much so that I feel so comfortable using their blades. I've never cut myself ever using a Harry's product, and that's what I find to be the best quality about their product. It's practical, like I said. He'll actually use it like I do. Harry's makes sharp, durable blades that last, German-engineered and award-winning, backed by a 100% quality guarantee. If he doesn't love his shave, which I don't know why he wouldn't, you guys are going to get a full refund. It's a great deal for you and for him. Holiday sets start at $20. That's within, if you guys have a Secret Santa going around the office and you're shopping for maybe a coworker, it's within Secret Santa limits. Harry's blade refills are as low as $2, so your guy will save money over time. It comes ready to gift in a handsome holiday gift box, and your gift actually gives back. 1% of each sale will be donated to charitable organizations. Each gift set is going to come with the following: a weighted handle. You guys are going to have the option to engrave as well. 5-blade razor cartridges, foaming shave gel with a rich lather, travel cover to protect your blades, and a handsome, like I said, holiday gift box, and it comes in a beautiful package. Free shipping ends on December 16th, so act now. Guys, harrys.com/script. You got up until December 16th for that free shipping. Give the gift this holiday season. Give the gift of Harry's. Once again, that's harrys.com/script. You know, I was one of a lot of people in the wrestling community that complained that we are 1 week away from the TLC pay-per-view and we have not one single match announced for the pay-per-view, which is not this coming Sunday, but next Sunday. We got one more Raw and one more Friday Night SmackDown. Now, like I said, I was one of many people who complained, and I was wondering what was going on with this. But then this morning, I seen a news article which detailed a possible reason as to why no matches have been announced for the TLC pay-per-view. Now, in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, Dave Meltzer has speculated why there have been no matches officially announced for WWE TLC. Not surprisingly, Vince McMahon is ultimately behind not making anything official at this point. No shit. Another fucking bumble-headed move by the chairman of the board, but is it really that ridiculous? You guys might find that my answer is very bizarre. Now, however, unlike many of the decisions Vince McMahon makes, this one seems to have some rationale behind it. According to Meltzer, WWE pay-per-views are now all about getting network subscriptions. I don't know who in their right mind is paying for legit WWE pay-per-views with the quality of this product now in 2019, why you would spend upwards towards $60 on a WWE pay-per-view. Which I'll cycle back to in a second, because there are still some people out there, and there are people out there who are not subscribed to the network that go directly through their cable providers who still watch these shows through those means. Now, apparently, WWE subscriptions get the most boost on the actual day of the event. Vince believes making match announcements either the day before or the actual day of the event will entice more fans to make the spur-of-the-moment decision to sign up for the network. Because of this last-minute signing up, Vince also believes that there is no reason to rush into any decisions. Of course, this means this provides more time for him to change his mind over what he wants on the show and what he doesn't want on the show. But as we've seen, Vince McMahon has always been a man that makes last-minute decisions. Now, the old philosophy here is of actual booking high-quality angles and storylines so that people will pay to see the actual payoff. That's not something Vince McMahon believes in. Maybe, just once, he should actually try it. That's what AEW is doing. I mean, look at the pay-per-view business that they've been doing at $50 a fucking pop. I mean, I don't understand that. The reason why those pay-per-views are so successful is because of the story that they generate on TV. They generate interest, and people are still dropping $49.99 for Double or Nothing and Full Gear and All Out. Each one of those shows did over 100,000 buys. It's pretty fucking impressive for a t-shirt company. Now, I want to be a little rational here myself in this entire situation. Before I go and blast Vince McMahon, which would be the easiest thing to do, because all I have to tell you is, what happens to the old philosophy of booking matches on TV and getting people excited so that they then buy the pay-per-view. According to him, that is an old fucking method that doesn't work anymore. He's an idiot. He's an idiot. He's a fucking idiot. My other thing is, yes, the demographic is going to be very low for people who are watching on traditional pay-per-view. But if you are those people, he's pretty much at this point forcing you to go the cheaper route, to sign up for the network. It's $9.99 a month. You can cancel anytime in that month. If you don't like the fucking network, then cancel at $9.99. It's $9.99 compared to fucking $59.99 or $64.99. Whatever these shows are going for on traditional pay-per-view. Verizon, Xfinity, Cablevision, whoever, Optimum. I don't know. Why is anybody watching traditional pay-per-view anyway? I don't get it. Everything's streamed now. Everything's on a fucking app for cheaper. So, the small demographic there, which I'm sure he doesn't care about because they're not really affecting his bottom line all that badly. And he wants network subscriptions because that's going to make him more money in the long run. But what about those people who don't subscribe to the network and they're waiting for the traditional way to have these pay-per-views billed, on weekly television? You want an idea of what's going to be on so that you pull out your wallet. I want to spend money on this. You're not going to be able to do that anymore. So now you're going to have to follow Vince McMahon's lead here and go get the network, like I said, for $9.99. Now, before I shit on Vince McMahon, which would be the easiest thing for me to do, I want to bring this to your attention, and I know this might sound a little outlandish to you. JD, are you okay? Are you feeling okay? Do you have a fever? Maybe one too many cold beverages? No, I'm good. I'm sober. Maybe. Anyway, I don't mind this. Guys, it's TLC. Who the fuck cares about TLC? It's not like we're talking about a Royal Rumble or a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. I don't see why anybody should be making a big deal about... Now, I made a big deal about it because I'm an old school guy. I go through the old philosophy. I am with the old method of building on TV, getting matches built, having feuds formulate on TV, and then you get the payoff at the pay-per-view. That's my way of doing things. That's the way I would do it. That's the way we're going to do it in Hog. But with this, you got to think about, let's backtrack 3 weeks. 3 weeks ago, we had Crown Jewel. Crown Jewel, right? Or not 3 weeks ago. That was about 6 weeks ago. 6 weeks ago, we had Crown Jewel. 3 weeks ago, we had the Survivor Series. Survivor Series was an easy out for WWE. It was Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT. The card booked itself for WWE. 80% of that card was booked itself. Champions versus champions. You had Mysterio and Lesnar, right? You got Adam Cole and Pete Dunne, which you got coming out of War Games. The only thing you really had to do was that Survivor Series elimination match between the women and the men. That was all you had to do. That was the only brain power that you actually had to formulate for that show. Now, coming out of that, 3 weeks after Survivor Series was TLC. Look at the way the pay-per-view schedule is going into the end of the year. And it's going to be like that for the duration, over the next 8 years. There is nothing WWE could do in a old school way to get you excited about anything on TLC in 3 weeks. So why is everybody bitching and complaining? I did it, but then I did some thinking. And now I came to a logical sense, and I'm relaying it to you guys, and I'm sure most of you will agree with me. Most of you are going to be under the assumption of, you're right, JD, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. And you shouldn't give a shit. I don't. If I don't give a shit, then you shouldn't give a shit. It's 3 weeks. They didn't announce a fucking match for TLC. I'm going to watch anyway because I have to. And if I say it's good, you guys more than likely will go out and watch. So, 3 weeks coming out of Survivor Series, they could have done nothing to get you excited about this TLC show. The simple fact that they haven't announced a single match yet, it really doesn't mean anything because at the end of the day, on top of that 3 weeks, which you would have gotten no build at all, and if we got a build, all we would have done is bitch and complain. In 3 weeks, it's TLC. At the end of the day, it's fucking TLC. So there's no reason to sit there and be bothered by why Vince McMahon wants to go about and not announce matches until a day or two before the show. Or maybe on the day of the show, period. Doesn't really matter. It's TLC. If this was a Royal Rumble, if this was a WrestleMania, if this was a SummerSlam, or Money in the Bank, or something like that, then I would have a problem with it. Then I would have tore him a new asshole completely, verbally. That's that. I don't really want to spend too much time on it, but I don't really mind it because of the reasons I gave you. It's TLC, and there's nothing in 3 weeks that they would have done anyway to get you interested in what they got going on this show. So let it be. Let him do what he wants. It might actually work. But if he does this with Royal Rumble, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, all those big pay-per-views, then I'm going to have a fucking problem with it. Now, at this point, the rumored matches are as follows. Let me get the pillow ready. Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin in what is rumored to be a dog collar match. Maybe Baron Corbin will bring his poopy bags with him. Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black, which I'm hearing, I won't be sleeping during that match. Buddy Murphy versus Aleister Black, which I am hearing rumored Vince might actually cut from the show. The one match I want to watch on this fucking show, he's going to end up cutting. I would not be surprised. But it's the only match on TV that's actually been given some sort of storyline as well. And they're actually going to cut the one match, one of the few matches on this card that actually has a legit storyline going into the pay-per-view. Yeah, let's cut it. Let's cut it from the card. Unreal. Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch versus the Kabuki Warriors. This is rumored to be a tables, ladders, and chairs match. I'm sure that would be awesome. Women's division still sucks, by the way. Rusev versus Bobby Lashley with Lana. Sleep. What else we got? Viking Raiders versus Gallows and Anderson for the Raw Tag Team titles. Have these teams even crossed paths on Monday Night Raw in the last 3 weeks? No. But I guess being the best tag team in the world gets you a title shot, right? I guess that's the reason that they will give us come the pay-per-view. The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan, again. We got that, which I'm not surprised by. Shinsuke Nakamura versus Braun Strowman for the Intercontinental title. Well, they either are going to set this up on Friday, which I have not watched yet because it's Friday at 4:30 in the afternoon, so by the time you guys see this, SmackDown will have been over. If they have not booked this on SmackDown for Friday, and they go into the go-home show just 2 days before the pay-per-view with this match hanging in the balance, I don't know who in their right mind could possibly give a shit about Shinsuke Nakamura versus Braun Strowman. So I guess they created that new shiny title for Braun Strowman to hold at the end of the day, because I don't see Shinsuke Nakamura beating Braun Strowman. And I guess they did kind of tease it on SmackDown a couple weeks ago. Sami Zayn said something about Braun Strowman, and he left, exit stage left in that situation. So I guess, but that really doesn't constitute an Intercontinental title match. Braun Strowman's done nothing to even say he deserves an Intercontinental title match. The New Day versus Rude Ziggler for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Get the pillows out, guys. Get the pillows out. Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. Get the pillows out. Seth Rollins, yes. Kevin Owens, no. No pillow for Seth Rollins. Randy Orton versus AJ Styles. It's a storyline. It's there. It is what it is. 10 matches. Not that bad of a card, but, if they cut Buddy Murphy and Aleister Black, then I'm really going to be quite disappointed, because out of everything on this show, that's really the only thing I want to see. And for the reasons of Aleister Black has been off TV for 8 fucking months. Can you get this guy some work? Seriously. Or send him back down to NXT, which I'm sure he'll have no problem with. The Usos, speaking of tag teams. You got 2 tag team matches on this show that are utterly boring, possibly. The Usos and their WWE return. I hope that it's soon, but it remains unclear. Now, this is coming from Sean Ross Sapp. He was asked recently on a Fightful Select Q&A about the Usos, and he said that he has heard radio silence on the Usos. He says, and I quote, "Yeah, no update whatsoever. I've been asking, and there's no update at all." It's fine. I hope that they come back healthy, happy, and ready to go, and I hope in this time away, they're getting their shit together and back being healthy. Same thing with Naomi. It's all I could ask for. Come back and show us why the Uso Penitentiary was one of the best things in WWE when you were on SmackDown and being booked like 2 fucking badasses. That's what I want to see when they come back. I don't know where they're going, or if they're even associated with a brand. I don't know. But we'll figure that out when they actually get back to TV. Daniel Bryan. I don't want to spend too much time on this either, but I want to say, for everybody that said something to me negatively in regards to Kofi Kingston and Daniel Bryan, or whether I said Kofi Kingston's title reign is going to be something that's going to be less than memorable, or it's not going to last that long, which it really didn't. And then look at what they did with Kofi Kingston. They fed him to Brock Lesnar 7 seconds later. Kofi Kingston has no fucking care in the world about a WWE championship. Right back to holding worthless tag team titles. But for every person that said, "Oh, it's all Kofi Kingston, he would have did this with anybody. Daniel Bryan had no factor into anything that happened with Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania. Oh, you're a racist. You're always got to go with the white guy. You can't give the black guy the power at WrestleMania and give him the star-making moment." Whatever. I'm here to tell you 2 things. Number 1, Kofi Kingston would have never been in this situation if it wasn't for Mustafa Ali getting hurt. Now, Mustafa Ali would have not gotten over as big as Kofi Kingston, but it would have been Mustafa Ali's spot to fuck up. That's the plain truth of the matter. So with Mustafa Ali getting hurt, that's why Kofi Kingston was in the main event of WrestleMania. And I don't want to hear any fucking bullshit from anybody. The fact that he was out of the Elimination Chamber is all the reason why Kofi got it. Because you could put anybody in there for an hour, and everybody in that audience is going to be on whoever. Could be fucking anybody. It could be a fucking mannequin from Victoria's Secret. I mean, for fucking Christ's sake, Santino Marella in one Elimination Chamber came down to the final two with Daniel Bryan. They wanted him to win the fucking WWE title. Don't give me that bullshit. It would have been anybody in that spot, and anybody would, especially if it's an over babyface, they would have received the same fucking reaction. Kofi Kingston was always looked at as a middle-of-the-road guy that would never amount to a world championship. Now, Mustafa Ali, I'm going to say it again. I love Mustafa Ali, but I don't think he would have been able to handle or get the reaction that Kofi Kingston got. They would have never been able to give him the storyline that Kofi Kingston was given with Vince and all this. So, it is what it is. It happened, but you got to fucking look at the deeper issue here. Kofi is lucky to be given that position because if Ali didn't get hurt, I don't think Kofi would have ever got that. Kofi, and the reason why it was the best thing at WrestleMania, the match, the story, and everything that happened with this when he was finally given that opportunity to go into WrestleMania, the reason why it was so important, and it was given that level of importance, was because of Daniel Bryan. You put anybody in there that is a heel, and it's not going to be the same way. Daniel Bryan was so over as a heel. It goes to show you how fucking multi-talented he is. You put anybody in a heel role in that spot, it's not going to be as important and it's not going to be as significant as it would have been with Daniel Bryan there. Daniel Bryan was the best heel character on the main roster in that time period. For the first half of that year, Daniel Bryan was the best heel on the main roster. And the reason why Kofi Kingston's match was so important was because he fed off of Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was so great at what he did that when Daniel Bryan was beat at WrestleMania by Kofi Kingston, it was enhanced that much more. And I don't give a shit if you agree with me or not. That's the fact of the matter. Now, I don't want to sit here and fucking stroke my own ego, but everything I said, people look down on me. Oh, it wasn't Daniel Bryan. Oh, blah, blah, blah. All this shit, right? It absolutely was. In more ways than one. Now, Kofi Kingston was on After the Bell with Corey Graves. Kofi Kingston opened up about how Daniel Bryan lobbied for him to be in the WrestleMania main event. Daniel Bryan lobbied for him backstage to management. The company had their own plans for WrestleMania, but thanks to Daniel Bryan and others who politicked for Kofi. He didn't name anybody else, but Daniel Bryan, I'm sure, holds a lot of weight backstage. Daniel Bryan helped guide Kofi Kingston backstage to get his WrestleMania moment. Otherwise, things would have been much different. Kofi Kingston says this: Daniel Bryan pushed for that to happen. The plans weren't for me to be at WrestleMania. I'm not sure who it was supposed to be against Daniel Bryan. But Daniel went in and went to bat for me and the situation and the title match for us to happen. He had a big part in that too. It's a testament to his state of mind, and as far as advancing in the business and doing the right thing for people and the product, Daniel Bryan is that. I give a lot of credit to Daniel Bryan, who I think is legitimate, like a generational talent. It meant so much more because Bryan was so hot at the time, and Bryan was just so damn good in the ring, on the mic, with his character at the time. He was so giving with the build to this story, and it meant that much more. Any other questions? Do you want to tell me now that Daniel Bryan didn't have anything to do with Kofi Kingston winning the WWE Championship? There you go. For everybody that looked down on Daniel Bryan and looked down on me for hyping up Daniel Bryan more so than Kofi Kingston and giving Daniel Bryan most of the credit over Kofi Kingston, there you go. Validation is a beautiful thing. Daniel Bryan pulled for Kofi Kingston to be in the WrestleMania main event. Kofi made the most of it. I wasn't a big fan of his title reign at all. I don't think, well, they tried their best to make him look legitimate, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. And then WWE, obviously, by the way they handle things, looked to be in a situation where they couldn't wait to get that championship off Kofi Kingston. 7 seconds? Tag team titles? Yeah, they couldn't wait to get him out of that position and that was his one and only title reign ever. He will never have that opportunity ever again. Speaking of the New Day, good news on Xavier Woods. This is according to Reddit, and the insider on Reddit, Loose Lips Backstage, who actually leaked the arrest angle on Monday Night Raw, frame for frame, segment by segment, fucking sequence by sequence. He revealed everything. So he must be somebody backstage. Woods is ahead of schedule, according to Loose Lips Backstage. Woods is ahead of schedule. In fact, his evaluation date for his injury has been moved up from July to May. So if all goes well, he could be back by the summer. Woods underwent surgery on October 25th after his leg gave out on him during a match in Sydney, Australia. And he will miss WrestleMania, but an Achilles injury is so fucking terrible. Some guys don't even come back at all from an Achilles injury. The rehabilitation has got to be fucking absolutely hellacious. And in this case, thank God it's not career-threatening for Xavier Woods. Good thing he's got backup. You know? Up, up, down, down. But in this case with Woods, he seems to be on the right track from coming back from this injury, which is a great thing because I'm a big fan of Xavier Woods. Mike Kanellis wondered if he should have went to NXT. You think? You think, you dummy. Mike Kanellis spoke to Smarks and Stripes. Who are they? I don't know. I don't know how these people get WWE employed talent. Mike Kanellis admitted that he thinks about skipping NXT a lot. He wears it like a badge of honor. Now that he's one of the rare examples of a superstar skipping NXT, he still can't help but wonder what if. He says, and I quote, I think a lot about this. I always constantly go back and I think to myself, well, had I just gone to NXT, maybe things could be different. But then I think, like, yeah, they pushed me right to the main roster, which is really cool. There are not many things they did with that. So I wear that as a badge of honor where I was like, yeah, maybe I came out and it was cold and I fell flat on my face. But again, I started. Maybe I sound like this friggin' guru. I don't know. I don't really care. I started taking so much personal responsibility and accountability for my actions. Some people might say, well, WWE screwed up my debut. Maybe. But I look at it as I screwed up. See, that's the mentality that they brainwash you with. He screwed up his debut? They fucked him over from day one. I came to the WWE and I was so out of shape and I wasn't prepared. I was addicted to drugs. Maybe they lost faith in me right out of the gate and I had to earn it back. So I wish it went better. Maybe in retrospect, I should have gone to NXT, but I wasn't ready, period. So I don't know if NXT would have made things any better. They certainly would have made things better. Because if he came out there on night one, he would have had at least some level of success. If he went away and Triple H was monitoring the situation and he came back and got himself the way he looked and got himself clean from everything that he was dealing with, Triple H would have never turned the other cheek. He would have given him another opportunity. In Vince McMahon and in his eyes, you know, you gotta be ready at all costs. If you waste one iota of their time, you're done. You're done. Everybody is lobbying for a position. They gave you a position that you weren't ready for. You made them look like an idiot. So what did they do? They treated you like a fucking afterthought every single step of the way. Until you sign a 5-year contract, which you foolishly did like a fucking idiot. You should have got out when you could. Yet you figured, you know what, let me sucker these people for some more money. I got another kid on the way. Instead of worrying about my fucking career, let me make this money while I can. Maybe they'll push me. There's no way that they can't. I'm so good at what I do. What did they do? What did they do? You found out that Maria was pregnant. You signed the fucking contract. You didn't tell them. They found out. They buried you. And they made you look like a fucking miserable cuck on television. Yet, we're to blame. We're to blame for your utter stupidity. You should have knew better. Apparently, Mike Kanellis should wonder if he's got a fucking functioning brain. Never mind going to NXT. Triple H would have never did this. WWE is a different beast. NXT may have a WWE banner underneath it. Or on top of it, rather. Might have the WWE logo right on the fucking title. But Triple H would have never taken this direction with Mike Kanellis. If he showed up back at the PC at Full Sail University looking the way he did, ready to go clean, I don't think Triple H would have done anything but want to use him. You put so much hard work in, I'm going to give you another opportunity. WWE, Vince, done. They're not going to give you another opportunity. You had one opportunity and you fucked it up. That was your fault. Don't know. It's not even completely your fault. It's WWE's fault as well, because why they took Mike Kanellis, who I guarantee you they didn't fucking know. They signed on a whim just to keep away from everybody else. Why they would even want him on the main roster. What value does he have to the main roster? Nothing. Nothing. You're better off going back to Impact Wrestling. That's what you should have did. You made your money in WWE, and the time that you made it, you had yourself an out, and you didn't give yourself the out. With AEW and Impact Wrestling, I'm sure, possibly wanting you, you opt to sign with the people who don't want anything to do with you and will not push you creatively in any sense of the word. Whose fault is that? That's on him. It's on WWE for thinking that this guy would get over. They intentionally fucking sabotaged him in my eyes. He should have went to NXT. Nobody should be void of NXT. Nobody. I was even lobbying for Kenny Omega to fucking go to NXT for 6 months. Give me a break. AJ Styles has come out several times and stated that he should have gone to NXT for at least a little bit because of the way things were done in WWE. Not just so in the ring. Camera, entrance, everything. TV. Mike Kanellis didn't have any of that. He barely had any of that with Impact Wrestling, but WWE is a different animal compared to Impact Wrestling. There's much he could have learned in NXT, and he got thrown right into the fire, and he had absolutely no chance to find his way to safety. None. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, they sabotaged his career. Tommaso Ciampa told WWE, and this will be the last thing for the weekend, I will not have any podcast on Sunday. This is the last thing for the weekend. Taking Sunday off, cretins. You're not cretins. I love you all. Some of you watching might be cretins. The ones who fucking wait for the video to upload and then immediately 4 thumbs down. Those are the cretins. But I know you're watching anyway, clowns. Tommaso Ciampa told WWE he would retire if they moved him to Raw and SmackDown. Or, there you go. I love it. I would too. He knows the deal. Tommaso is a very bright individual. He was on Lillian Garcia's Chasing the Glory podcast. And he revealed that he fought hard to stay in NXT instead of being called up permanently to Raw or SmackDown. He says, and I quote, I have legitimately vocalized to them that if I have to go to Raw or SmackDown, then I'm going to retire. And I would have loved to produce or coach or be a part of it, but there's no way I'm taking on that load. Ciampa discussed one of the main reasons why he doesn't want to move to Raw and SmackDown, and it's because of the workload. I have a little one at home, and my schedule is better in NXT, and it would be on the road, and I had neck surgery, and I'm not freaking stupid. I get that my window is smaller than it, or smaller than it was, and my bump card is ticking. His bump card is ticking. Yeah, he took several ticks off the bump card with that fucking air raid crash off the War Games cage through the table with Adam Cole. And I just look at it, if I'm doing 200 plus days a year on the road with Raw or SmackDown, or I'm going and doing a manageable load of 30 to 50 matches with NXT, so I can do 4 years of that in time. I do 1 year of Raw and SmackDown. So how long can my career and portfolio grow here as opposed to going up there? Health, happiness, family stability. He knew what was right. And the fact that Tommaso Ciampa has been so valuable to NXT in the last 2 years. He was in one of the greatest storylines that this company's ever produced with Johnny Gargano. Some of the greatest matches that this company has ever produced with Johnny Gargano. And then he got hurt. And then came back. And in that time frame, in that 6-7 months that he was gone, the obvious void that he left was so fucking apparent. He has been so important to this NXT brand. Why they would risk the value that he offers them for Raw and SmackDown, where his value to NXT would never be appreciated on Raw or SmackDown. His value, his talent would never be used in the way Triple H would use him on NXT. They would just throw him to the wayside. Another guy with a big beard who's a vanilla midget who's not going to get over with the audience because they don't know how to book anybody like that. And he doesn't fit into their grand scheme of things. He's not one of them. If he was one of them, then he would have been booked and given the rocket pack to the fucking moon. But Tommaso Ciampa, he is adored and respected and loved by everybody. And most importantly, Triple H. Why give that up? I don't know. So if he is one of those guys that Triple H said will be a career lifer in NXT, I have absolutely no problem with that. And now NXT's on the USA Network. It's not like you can't go out of your way and see who Tommaso Ciampa is. Go watch him. Go model yourself after him if you're a fucking professional wrestler, because he's one of the best in the business. Go look at how he did his heel run. Go model yourself after him, because it was the best heel run in modern history for WWE. Go and watch how influential this guy has become. He knows what is most important, and I appreciate that to no end that he made that decision. He could opt to go to Raw and SmackDown and make some more money. He chose happiness, and you know what? The company gave it to him. And that's a beautiful thing to see. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Thank you so very much for all your support on the podcast this weekend. 303 is in the books. I will be at House of Glory as you guys are watching this Saturday night. The Amazing Red returns. Low-key versus the fucking insane deathmatch legend, Masada. We got the Private Party and the Lucha Brothers in the tag team title match of the evening, the main event of the evening. I will be on commentary with the Solid Monster as always. Can't wait to see my boys in Private Party do their thing again in House of Glory. And we got a Crown Jewel Championship match with TJP. Remember him? Yeah, WWE wanted nothing to do with TJP, but now he's our Crown Jewel. Ken Broadway, TJP, Evander James, and JT Dunn in the Crown Jewel Championship Fatal 4-Way. Gonna be an awesome night. Thank you guys so very much. I'll see you guys if you're gonna make your way to Queens on Saturday night. I'll see you there. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. That is on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you guys check out part 1 of the podcast and everything else that you might have missed on the channel. Links will be down below. Check out Harry's for your holiday shopping. Harrys.com/script. Honey.com or joinhoney.com/offscript. Make sure you guys go and do that. Save some money while you're holiday shopping for the season. Patreon.com/JD from NY206. And I will see you guys right back here on Sunday with some gaming content, and then right back here on Monday for Monday Night Raw. Guys, thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button as well. And I'll see you guys right back here for episode 304 next week of the #1 podcast in all of the YouTube wrestling community. That is Off the Script. I'll see you guys then.